Tuesday. It is Tuesday, July the 8th. I'm Stefan Roost, founder and CEO of Truflation and the Truth Network. Um, and now I'm hearing myself in an echo. So I know the audio is good, which is pretty good. Unlike the last couple of times where we had some problems with the audio. But yeah, so I'm here. I'm really covering off a bit of what's going on in the ecosystem, in cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, and also from a regulatory standpoint, what's going on, also from a macroeconomic standpoint, and what's happening across the truth ecosystem. That's what I cover off. We try to do it in about 20 to 30 minutes. And today I have a hard stop in about 30 minutes. So I'll keep it short and tight to that. There's lots going on. As you all know, we are going through a number of different changes. We just announced, or we didn't announce, but the government just announced. Here we go. The survey of consumer expectations. So, what are the people expecting? We've got a couple of interesting weeks coming up. We've got the interest rates announcement in 2 weeks. Next week, we got the inflation announcement. What do you think we're going to see? Are we going to see anything interesting? Are we going to see some changes, unexpected changes? We've seen some significant unexpected changes on the Truflation website. If you go and have a look on truflation.com, you'll definitely see where inflation's at. We've come down. So we've had a significant pivot in the market where you can see right here, a huge drop. And you know that Truflation is 45 days ahead of the curve. What does that mean? What's that saying? We're back below 2%. And what does that mean? What does that mean for Bitcoin in prices? What does that mean for other prices out there, so that you know what to do? And if you're a subscriber, you get insights in terms of how to work with that and what that actually means for you and your trading decisions as it relates to specific assets. Well, we've got some really good insights coming live, I think in the next week or so, really around how you can leverage Truflation to optimize your BTC purchases. I mean, it's really hard, right? BTC's up like no other asset. And how do you outperform? Now you have all these Bitcoin treasuries popping up everywhere. How do they differentiate themselves? Is it just the volume of Bitcoin? For sure. But is it their efficiency in how they're able to buy Bitcoin faster, better, at better price points, getting more extractable value for you as an investor in that treasury company, for example? So those are things that are all popping up. Obviously, there are innovative new financial models, et cetera, that are coming out of that. But yeah, just to show you, there's a big pivot change. Pivot change means something is going on and something is going to happen with other asset classes. Yeah, so back to where we started. The Federal Reserve Board does the consumer expectations. They do a survey. It covers off 3 areas, as you can see: inflation, labor market, what do people think about the labor market, and then household finance, what do we think about that? And so here you can see an overview of what people are expecting around the median 1-year expectation, so median 3-year expectation. So I mean, how are people going to ever expect what inflation's going to do on a median level 3 years out or 5 years out with this kind of volatility in the market? It's just no way. I mean, no way. But I think the interesting element is, forget these two here. Let's just focus on the median. You can see a nice drop here from 3.6 to 3.0. So people expecting inflation to come down. So that's a good thing, right? Yeah. So again, what does that mean for interest rates? What is Powell going to be doing at interest rate levels when decision-making time comes? What is Mr. Powell going to be doing? There's only one way to find out, and it's to see what he says. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we also have the labor market. What are people expecting? Earnings growth also down. So we're going to be earning less. People are expecting to earn less. Interesting, right? Moving expectations still pretty stable. I mean, it's really interesting how they display this. Number one, you got 2012 all the way to 2015, so it's really hard to see any kind of impact on this. Let me see a 1-year detail. Maybe that's a bit more interesting. Yeah, median expectation, yeah, is down. Median point prediction, not even I know what that is. But then again, I'm not the New York Federal Reserve expert. But I think, in general, what's it saying? Household income growth expectation. Ooh, a little uptick. Why is the household growth income growing while the actual earnings growth expectation in the labor, so my salary is going to drop, but my household's going to earn more? Why? Maybe because inflation's coming down, so we have more to spend. I don't know, man. I think I got to read and study this report, but it just came out this morning. We'll be doing some deeper insights into what this means and how you can interpret this, and what does this mean for you? How could you leverage this? But in the end, do we really care? It's by some government institution. I don't think anybody believes these these numbers anymore. So what can we do to change that? Just as well, sort of all of a sudden, the BLS, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics, all of a sudden today come out and say 100,000 salary in 2020 has the same buying power as 124,000 in 2025. So that's a 24% increase in salary or in inflation over the last 5 years. 24%. That's not true. What we believe at Truflation is the fact that it's actually 28%. So you should be 130,000 is realistic and should be the target that you would want to hit. Anyway, so that's sort of a view that we see at Truflation, and this is the contrast to what the government numbers is saying. But actually, the BLS is now coming out to say, actually, inflation's pretty high in aggregate. Anyway, that's something. So how do we do, and what can we do about that, right? I mean, there are investments we can make. How can we participate? And how can we trade without having to set up a whole account? How can we get on apps that we're used to and we have knowledge about and are comfortable with using, e.g. a Robinhood? How can we participate in a lot more asset appreciation? Because there are two elements of inflation, right? One is consumer price appreciation, so the cost of goods going up. And then there's asset price appreciation. So how much are the assets around you appreciating, e.g. stocks, equities, bonds, property, real estate? How are they moving up? Gold, the yacht, if you can afford a yacht, the plane, if you can afford a plane. But anyway, how are those appreciating and what is the impact of that? How do you participate in that? And so I think the interesting element that's happening right now is the tokenization of real world assets. On the one hand, I'm really excited because it allows people to participate in crypto where in the past they haven't been able to and haven't been allowed to participate. Right now, everybody can participate. That's really good. So Robinhood here, the CEO, Vlad Tenev, says tokenization is the biggest innovation in the past decade. What? All of a sudden? I mean, imagine that wording coming out. We were all laughed at a year ago, and now everybody's coming out and saying, in the past decade, it's the biggest innovation that's happening. Yeah, because it's peer-to-peer electronic cash. It allows you to exchange on a peer-to-peer basis without any middlemen, without all of the baggage, to be able to exchange and trade on automated marketplaces. So
of the
yeah,
SEC.
I thought that's,
and you
that's
probably
really
saw
interesting.
last
What's he
week
saying here?
Chairman Atkins and you probably saw last week Chairman Atkins of the SEC gave an interview about tokenization. He called it a great innovation. Mm-hmm. And we agree with that. We think tokenization is perhaps the biggest innovation to come into capital markets in the past decade. So, and you probably saw last week
and yeah, we agree with that too. We've been saying that for a long time. Tokenization, assets, and crypto in general is the biggest financial innovation that has ever actually really happened outside of more forms, more regulation, more compliance requests. And think about it, the banks today are spending some 80 cents or 70 cents on the dollar on compliance, regulatory environment, regulatory issues, et cetera, et cetera. And that's leading to many stocks actually now being available. Even on Robinhood, you can start trading X stocks, tokenized stocks. And there's a good video where he shows in Cannes, I think I shared it last time, but ultimately more and more of these assets are coming on chain. And you're seeing even the likes of Centrifuge now here, just launching S&P 500 now on chain, right? So all of a sudden you can trade S&P 500 as with Janus Henderson Anemone. I don't know who they are. Anemone, I guess, is another. Actually, I just saw the Janus. I never heard of Janus Henderson until this morning when I saw it on a tram. And here you go. Now it's live as a segregated portfolio. So if you remember, why is this actually happening? What's happening is actually two things that this is bringing advantage to. Number one, it is allowing everybody to participate in tokenized assets. That is increasing the comfort level across everybody out there in terms of being able to participate in tokenized assets and entering into crypto. Good thing. I would say is also that liquidity is now entering into crypto. On the one hand, it may be KYC'd, it may be permissioned, it may be private, etc. It may not be transferable. All of those things, I don't know. I haven't bought any of these assets yet, but that's something you may want to check. But as soon as they become transferable, that means that everybody can trade in those, and then you can put them on DEX as soon as there's liquidity, or on other exchanges, and then you can trade them on exchanges, on other exchanges beyond just these centralized exchanges that are available, e.g. NASDAQ or NYSE, New York Stock Exchange. So now they're available everywhere. But what we really like is not taking old school boomer indexes and bringing them on chain. Let's create our own indexes. Let's build crypto native indexes. Let's allow you to trade the actual narratives that matter, making sure that you have an amazing no-code platform like you have at Index.Fund to be able to trade with 60,000 data sets out there today, not to mention what's going to come tomorrow, but you can trade those today and create your own index. Right now, we just have a couple of few here: Nancy Pelosi index, deadlift index, the hedge index. Now, if you look at the hedge index, guess what? We've got some boomer activities in here. We've got the iShares S&P 500. Ooh, we just saw that Centrifuge is tokenizing the S&P 500. Interesting. You got Bitcoin in there. You got crude oil. So tokenized commodities, tokenized ETFs, tokenized Bitcoin. It's already a token anyway. Tokenized silver, tokenized gold. So commodities, ETFs, crypto assets, all bundled. And these are crypto natives built by crypto people for crypto people, tradable across the crypto exchanges. Right now, only on Sonic. So check out Sonic. Amazingly fast, super good experience as a blockchain. And that's now tradable on Index.Fund. So go check it out, go make some bets. At the moment, it's just binary options. So it's just up and down. You can trade and forecast where this will go. We believe heavily in the growth of prediction markets. Why? Because indexes and prediction markets are derivative products. And if you look in the fiat world, derivative products are quadrillions big. How big is quadrillions? I can't even imagine that. But think about it, the spot trading market versus the derivative trading market, even on crypto assets, $60 trillion, 60 trillion is the size of the derivatives trading market a year. That's huge. And that's why Coinbase bought Deribit. Deribit is one of the biggest platforms in crypto for derivative tradings. Deribit, derivative, Bitcoin, Deribit. Anyway, sorry. I guess that's sort of, what do you think about that acquisition? Do you think Deribit, have you traded on Deribit? Has anybody traded on Deribit? Has anybody traded on DEX perps? I mean, DEX perps are everywhere. You must have traded on those. Those are really highly popular. And either way, don't believe what I say. Listen to Intel Scout. He studied index.fun. Yeah, good analyst. Most prediction markets are just slow, boring boomer bets. Index.fun turns them into high frequency trading with revenue that flows back to the creators. Exactly. So, how does Index.fun? If you create an index, you earn 30% of the revenue generated, the amount it clears, right, after cost of sales. But that's pretty interesting. That's still, there's a forecast that is very lucrative if you are a creator, and not only trading on index.fun, but if it hits a certain threshold, it then graduates onto dexes. So check it out, play around. The other thing, obviously, that is continuously coming up outside of crypto land is Argentina, right? Argentina 3 weeks ago announced astonishing 7.6% year over year GDP growth. So it's growing. Inflation's going below 2%. This is for the first time in 5 years. That's month on month inflation that they're tracking. And we're seeing the same thing. You go to Truflation again. Have you checked out Truflation? We have an Argentina index. Look at it, just drop from 250, 63% down to a measly 30%. This is year on year versus month on month. But if you look at the huge drops from 40 to 33, so it's continuously declining. It's nearly at the lowest possible rate ever. And if you want to know what's driving that, it's goods, it's core goods, it's services. So everything is coming down in Argentina. You can also go and have a look at what is driving that. Look at this. What is this here? Food away from home dropped significantly. Huge drop. And food is 21%, not like the US where it's about 15 or 13%. Here it is 21%. So this, and my experience in Argentina, people love going out, love having a good meal. Housing pretty much flat, but it's only 8% of household spending. So it's still not that important. And hence, that is not the area where the team in Argentina is focusing. Huge drop here in utilities. So bringing down the cost of energy, bringing down gas price, bringing down electricity prices. That's been a real focus. So all of this you can see when you go and log in to the Truflation site. So the other thing is really talking more about stablecoins. You've seen our post, you've heard us talk about the importance of the Genius Act, the growth of the stablecoin industry, where that's going to go, how important that is. We've seen stablecoin market right now go from zero to about $260 billion in market cap. We actually believe that's going to go to $2 trillion as more and more institutions start printing their own stablecoins. So the Genius Act is something that fosters innovation, leans in to a new innovative technology. And as we heard, the SEC chairman, the new SEC chairman, believes that this is one of the greatest innovations out there. We've heard Vlad Tenev of Robinhood talk about the greatest innovation in financial services in the last 10 years. And stablecoin is the tokenization of dollars, right? And so that's going to flourish and grow that market. And that's why we think it's going to be $2 trillion very soon, in 2 years, right? In 2 years. We've said that. You can read it on our blog post, on my blog post. And we just see that growing. But some people are not so comfortable and not so happy about that, especially the European regulators and especially the central bankers. So here we have Christine Lagarde says stable coins risk the privatization of money. She's right. That's the point. I like what Ellie Nagar is saying here. ECB President Christine Lagarde says stablecoins will lead to the privatization of money, undermining central bankers' public good. What public good have they done other than burn through trillions of dollars with no conscious, no desire to repay it, only to hold together the clubby institution that they love hanging out with, right? And here again, another post where she talks about it again. ECB. She's here on stage, the authoritarian mama who knows best and tries to tell us that don't worry, we got you covered. Here, warns stablecoins could trigger privatization of money, urges global regulation before adoption accelerates. I think the cat's out of the bag. Here, privatized money was how the US operated from its founding on its journey to greatness. That got turned around when central bank money came into being. So Willy Woo talking there, big crypto analyst, and a long time Bitcoiner. But here, also Miko talking about it. Lagarde worried digital euro, Miko are failures, and the US will dominate the stablecoin business. Yeah. So again, there's no global regulation. The Europe went down the route of Mika. Also, blog posts that we've done where we compare Mika with Genius and why one is very different to the other. The worry is warranted. However, the EU had the first mover advantage with the regulation and they screwed it up. No EU stablecoin is internationally competitive because it's inherited the business unfriendliness that was backed into the MiCA by the lobbying efforts of banks and other financial regulations. Yeah, I mean, I think that says it all. A corrupt Central European political body. Anyway, I don't want to talk too much about that, but here in the recent months, both top officials have suggested that the MiCA rules are not strong enough to withstand the effects of a turbocharged US stablecoin industry, worrying that the flood of the dollar-denominated assets into Europe could reroute European savings into the US, which is already happening, right? Look at what Robinhood announced. We talked about it last Thursday when Robinhood announced the tokenization of US equities available only to Europeans. So Europeans can buy tokenized versions of US equities. What does that do? That takes more liquidity out of European hands and puts it into US equities, increasing the value of and the demand for US equities out of European money. And what are Europe trying to do? They're trying to take people's pension funds and allocate those into government-defined investments, which, yeah, again, it's the high, the elites trying to control everything and know what's best for everybody in society. And as we've learned, that hasn't worked out and they haven't done a good job on that. But either way, that's just one thing. Here again, the clubby guys, here the Bank Chairman of England, Andrew Bailey, and Christine Lagarde, they discuss stablecoins and Bitcoins, how they are protecting money and how they see stablecoins as a threat, and money should not be private for citizens. They are scared. They want CBDCs. And Europe has a CBDC. She'd made that very clear. And of course, she wants to enforce regulatory elements around that. I shared that video with you last time. What to me was surprising was that the European CBDC actually has a lifespan. So if you don't use it, if you don't spend it within a certain window, whoosh, it's not accepted anymore. How does that work? Is that even possible? Anyway, interesting to have a look at. But just to show you how scared they are and what they're scared of and how they are colluding with mass media together. And, say what you want, but here you have The Economist. We talk about Financial Times, always super negative. We talk about The Economist, always super negative. These are experts that advise you that, Argentina will never do well, right? Oh, we got hundreds of economists that say Argentina will never fix its economy. Boom, inflation down to 2%, GDP growth up at 7%. Amazing, right? And so they are no longer in charge. They do not have the information. They don't know how to interpret the information. They're working with traditional information, as we see with Truflation. They're working with surveys, with manual people doing calculations, analysts who don't even know, or journalists that don't even know what they're talking about, but they're considered journalists. So they are licensed and authoritarian because they're backed and paid for in a salary by The Economist, who in theory has filtered them, right? And so here they talk about, again, stablecoins, bad, scared, FUD, right? How long have they been fudding stablecoins, crypto, Tether? Tether has become the money launderer's dream currency. Again, just fear, uncertainty, doubt, money. How about the dollar? I mean, how has the dollar been, corrupt? How corrupt is Europe and Brussels? Anyway, just things to look at. Just take everything with a pinch of salt. Don't listen to what they say. Listen and watch what they do and where the money flows. That's what you got to watch out for. And right now, you're seeing companies like Tether, they're moving to El Salvador. Here, the CEO says Tether is moving to El Salvador. So they're leaving Europe. They were headquartered, I think, in Switzerland, and they're now saying, adios, amigos, we go to El Salvador. They were in Hong Kong. Bitfinex was launched in Hong Kong, moved to Switzerland. Now they go to El Salvador, a much more friendly environment. The CEO is going to protect the chief executive of the country or the president is going to support them, and they're going to build a Tether tower. Have you seen what that Tether tower looks like? I mean, here's an image. I don't know if this is real, but this looks like AI generated, but this is the design that's out there. Check this out. I mean, this is what the building seems to look like. And El Salvador is set to host one of Latin America's tallest skyscrapers, the Tether Tower. Tether CEO Paulo Arduino has confirmed plans for a 70-story global headquarters in El Salvador, which will also house other digital assets and tech companies. And if you've listened to the show, you've heard us talk about how in central capitals of all cities around the world, what are the big ads you see on top of the buildings? They're banks, they're law firms, they're accountants, they're auditors, they're lawyers. Those are the big brands you see in central of all the buildings in central downtown cities. And so now Tether, cryptocurrencies, is becoming a building in downtown El Salvador that will be a attracting point of commerce and new forms of business. So let's see how that evolves, but super exciting. All the meanwhile, again, Tether expanding, not holding back, continuously innovating, plowing back in their profits into innovation, not into big fat bonuses for big fat Jamie Dimon type expenses and his senior staff bonuses, et cetera, poaching from another bank to pay them even more, give them guaranteed bonuses, et cetera. No, we invest in new products, we innovate, we drive better and further. And so here, a month in a horseback bandit, so they talk about Tether Gold.
Khan himself trusted me to deliver this wedding gift.
This
Fastest rider in the steps, you're looking at him.
Index.
Been riding for
The
days,
hedge index
should
is
be there
going
in
to
1
be a
month, around the
tokenized
full moon. Bandits.
Index that you can carry around, created
is not
on
what I
index
signed
fun
up for.
because it's got the
I
volume
outran the
there.
bandits.
People like it.
Wait,
And
where's
so
the gold?
here, all of a
I
sudden,
think I lost the
have
wedding
tokenized
gift.
gold.
They're gonna kill
I have
me.
tokenized S&P 500.
The gold's
all of
safe.
those elements can be backing a crypto
The horse escaped.
based
I'm walking now.
index
5 days of
founded by
walking,
crypto
getting
people
warmer out
for
here.
the crypto community
this does not
with
look
crypto
safe.
assets.
Found a new
and
horse.
bought by and
Pretty sure it
with
doesn't have an owner
crypto
or a name.
native currency.
I should have sent a pigeon.
So here you got one. There's another one here where they're looking, created by Latin Americans, looking in Spanish. Sorry, I don't know, Andres, YouTuber Andres, who's talking about going into Fort Knox. There's no gold there, but guess what? It's all Tether. It's all tokenized. So we don't need to worry about it actually being there. It looks like nothing. So
Look at that
yeah,
shine.
some super cool
Pure
videos out
warlord
there,
grade
people
gold.
innovating,
Turns
driving
out,
things forward. So
I was
always
late.
good to see.
Missed the vows.
You carried it for a month? Next time, use XAUT
There you go.
so I can get the gold in seconds.
Next time, use XAUT so I can get the gold in seconds. You don't need to travel 1 month to go through all of that hassle. So yeah, lots going on. But I think also, a lot of us have been waiting for Ethereum. Where's Ethereum going? A lot of us hodled Ethereum. Some of us got in really early. You've seen some podcasts that I've done together with some of the earliest investors in Ethereum. And here, we've talked about treasuries, Bitcoin treasuries, how and which do you differentiate between a MicroStrategy versus a Meta Planet versus, Anthony Pompliano's Oh, I can't remember the name. What is it? Damn it, I should know the name. Oh, yeah. Anyway, how do you differentiate between the various treasuries, right? And so, and I thought it was really interesting to see. There was just a post, actually. I'll just quickly show Pompey. He just posted it out. It was really nice. Here we go. Yeah, so he posted this around ProCap, which is obviously in orange here. They set aside $1 billion. They've already deployed 516 million into purchases of 4,950 BTC. So if you look, what is the differentiation between each one of these? Is it just the amount of BTC they hold? Cantor has 37, 15,000, 4,950. Or is it the ability to purchase very effectively and increase the value associated with it? But yeah, it's got a nice premium here. BTC per share is 8 BTC per share right now. So you're getting a good, still a lot of upside here in ProCap. Maybe we should have a look at buying ProCap. Looks like Kindly's got a huge valuation. 1 BTC per share. I think that's it, right? Yeah. So, yeah, lots of upside over here. Maybe that's something we should look at. And I know the guy, so I'm biased. You guys have to do your own research. But definitely something to pay attention to. But I think also, we talked about Ethereum briefly. What's Ethereum doing? I didn't even share that screen, did I? Or I just shut that screen down. So maybe you didn't see it. But anyway, here you can see Ethereum. What are we doing with the Ethereum treasury, right? There's things to do. Joe Lubin's announced his treasury. You've seen here, there's Charles Allen interview, CEO of BTCS, talking about Ethereum treasury strategies. So it's not only Bitcoin, it's also Ethereum. So have a look at that. But rather than just buy all of that stuff, you can also come and now invest in some merch. We've launched a merch store, or one of our community members launched a merch store where here you can actually come and find products. So you've got House of Truth, built on data, some cool t-shirts. Nice designs. Truth Seeker. Are you a truth seeker? You got good hoodies. Wave of Truth. You can surf the wave of truth. Truth Network inside here, off the record on the chain, which is what my channel is, which is really about interviewing some great people and finding out about activities of the record that you only find on the chain. So you got ladies gear, so nice crop hoodies as well. You got gym gear for those that buy the deadlift index. You got some cool comic t-shirts here, some index.fun, some cool t-shirts about index.fun. And here Truth Bomb, some female fitted tank tops, hoodies, caps, and duffel bags, flip-flops. Anybody want flip-flops? Summertime, summer's coming. Maybe get some flip-flops with Truflation on them. And if you go to any of our events, you may get some of these t-shirts and you may not have to buy them, but stay tuned. And if you sign up as a subscriber, as a pro subscriber, maybe you'll be receiving something interesting in the mail. That's it. The other thing that I haven't yet covered off, which I've got 5 minutes over, but it's really our governance platform. Please check it out. Go to truth.network, our blog. We updated our governance process. Why? A lot of you are asking about being able to participate. How can I participate? How can we influence the protocol and drive the direction? And so what we've done here is update our governance, and you can see how it works, very detailed, step-by-step move, how it works. We've also moved everything across from our previous platforms to now being on Discourse and on Tally, which are better platforms and allow us to interact and allow participants to engage better with Truflation and the Truth Network. So thank you, everybody. I've just realized the time has shot by, and I left this to last a bit too late. I should have covered this a bit more, but I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to have to bolt as I'm supposed to be on a call 6 minutes ago. Hope you enjoyed this. Please hit the like button, and look forward to finding out more. Thanks, everybody. Have a great week, and see you on Thursday, same time, same place, different topics. Bye for now.